welcome to part 19 of Bible Mandela Effects. If you're unfamiliar with Mandela Effects, I recommend you watch the introduction to the series as well as many of the episodes leading up to this one. We have some interesting biblical Mandela effects for this week. Let's look at Isaiah 23:3. And we're going to look at marketplace of the nations. The verse says, "On the great waters came the grain of the Shihor, the harvest of the Nile was the revenue of Tyre, and she became the marketplace of the nations." And as you look at the other translations, you see marketplace of the nations, merchant of the nations. But then the King James, it says, "And by great waters the seed of Sihor, the harvest of the river is her revenue, and she is a mart of nations." And I just didn't remember seeing the word mart of nations before, the Walmart of nations. So I looked at the original Hebrew. "In water much, a seed of traders, as harvest being carried in the traders of the nations." So the idea that they're trading goods for money, and look at the word. But then when I looked at traders to see what it was saying, it says to turn about or to change your mind. So the idea of exchanging something maybe, but the definition seems strange. I was trying to just wrap my mind, how did they get that translation? So I just thought that was very interesting. I don't remember seeing Mart of Nations. That just sounds very modern. Okay, so that sounded strange to me. Okay, as an example of a Mandela effect. Again, what we remember doesn't match what we read. It seems strange. Next, this is a very interesting one. Job 21:24. "Well nourished in body, bones rich with marrow." Now, if you read the verse before, one man dies full of vigor, completely secure and at ease. His body is well nourished and his bones are rich with marrow. So that's the idea of the verse. The idea that they're in good health, vigorous and fit. Okay? His pails are full of milk. He has a lot of milk, of healthy milk, and the marrow of his bones moist. Okay? Berean Study Bible, same type idea. But look at the King James Bible, the wording in the King James Bible. "His breasts are full of milk, and his bones are moistened with marrow." So, especially in today's society, to see with the references to male, female problems we have in society, "his breasts are full of milk" seemed very strange. So I wanted to go back to the original Hebrew to see how it was worded. Notice the wording when you start looking at the original, each of the original words. "And his insides are full of fat, marrow, and his is diffused in him." Again, the idea that he's healthy. But notice his insides. So I looked at the word for insides, and the word for insides is the definition. This is the word, but look at the definition: to call in as a debt or demand, to bring to account, to accuse. So that definition doesn't match at all with what we had as far as the word. Now, when you're looking at the Hebrew, you have these two concepts together. Now, this other one is the word his. I, his, my. It's some sort of pronoun. And that's the way it works. They'll reverse the two words. That's why I looked at the other word. So his is this word here. Insides is this word. But the word for insides doesn't match at all. The word, according to the translation, Strong's Concordance, is some other word. So I thought, that's strange. Did Strong's Concordance get it wrong? I thought that was weird, just the way that that was presented. Then I looked at the word fat for milk. And the word for fat is Stachys, which is the name of a Christian man in Rome. So I was going, so if you put this together with what the definitions of the words are saying, it's saying that, and he accused a man in Rome. It doesn't match at all the translation of what the words are saying. And then marrow and his is diffused in him. So I looked at this word, diffused in him. Okay. It means to lay hands on violently. So when you look at the specific definition of the words, what you have for this verse is that, and he accused a man in Rome and laid hands on him violently. Doesn't match at all what the verse is saying. So this one just left me very confused. Again, I don't know Hebrew, I don't know Greek, but just looking at this and then knowing that the King James, his breasts are full of milk, that's definitely something very weird. The translation, the way that it's stated. Okay, with the idea that if you read it specifically, it just means that the man is healthy. He has good habits. He's very healthy. That's all the verse is saying. So that one was very interesting. Next, Proverbs 1:7. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. Okay, so go down to the King James Version. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Fools despise wisdom and instruction. I remember wisdom. Now, this one could be easily explained because we could be getting it confused with Proverbs 9:10. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and knowledge of the Holy One is understanding. And maybe we're confusing the two verses because they're basically saying the same thing. And when I looked up the original Hebrew for it, the beginning of wisdom is the fear of the Lord. Even the word wisdom is located here. It's definitely the word wisdom, Sophia, but it's with wisdom or insight, intelligence. So it could be used either way. And then when you look at the end of the verse, the beginning of wisdom is the fear of the Lord. Look at this word. Understanding and good to all the ones observing it, and piety to God is the beginning of perception. So when you see the word wisdom, it's also here. But wisdom and instruction, the impious shall treat with contempt. So here we see the word wisdom again. It's the same word. So the word wisdom could be used in either place. It's the same concept. But I just remember more similar that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. So to see that in this verse seems strange, but it could be that we're confusing it with another verse. That's the whole concept behind these Mandela effects, is just to check out everything. Are we confusing things? I just wanted to bring it out.